Here's a comment that I wanted to bring up. This Daniel K basically is commenting on when I was talking about how I fasted a lot in the past and I did empty stomach fasted training, and how I never really, I mean, I was lean from doing that, but I never made like gains per se, versus now that I'm drinking carbs and aminos and creatine and glutamine and citrulline, and having a cocktail of what are the pump agents and stuff as I'm training now. Like having just calories and all that while I train, I'm actually making way more progress than back when I was fasted lifting all the time. But he was basically saying that something that he thinks is a good idea is he was saying, heard of protein sparing modified fasting. You basically consume 40 grams of protein, whether it's whey or lean meat or fish or something, every 3 hours, or casein every 6 hours. Your body will literally utilize this protein completely. It is essentially free calories as long as you don't overshoot your intake. Not only is it free calories, but you actually burn more fat than if you did not eat protein. I don't understand the science though. Supposedly research has shown that you burn more fat drinking a protein shake pre-workout than you do fasted on an empty stomach. And most importantly, research has shown that protein sparing modified fasting prevents muscle protein or muscle breakdown. So eating protein only is better for fat loss than not eating anything, but it spares muscles from catabolism. Yeah, I mean, essentially, so basically, protein is thermogenic, right? Like it burns calories or whatever when it's just pure protein. But and then I've actually and I commented him to this that I'm not like I'm not a protein whore by any means. Like I don't even really focus on protein. I focus more on just calories throughout the day. I basically eat as much, and at the end of the day, I add everything up. Like, okay, I had blah, blah, we're at about 4,000, maybe 4,500. If I'm at like 3,300, let's say, and I want to go to bed soon, then I'm like, all right, well, I should probably eat one more thing to get me above 4,000. That's kind of that's where I'm at right now. That's where I've been at for like the past year. Basically, if I can get above 4,000, I'm good, which that might even not be enough for me. I probably should be shooting for 5,000 if I'm trying to bulk. But, like I said, I'm getting too heavy, so I might not be as obsessed with that. But at the same time, if I'm doing all the cardio on top of that, maybe I should maintain the cals while I'm doing the more cardio, so that I have a good recomp in that sense. Don't lose too much size. But yeah, basically, when I stopped doing all the fasted BS, something that I did here that was good for your body's metabolism and energy and just feeling good was having a protein shake first thing in the morning. Can't remember exactly. I think there's an article that like if you suffer from sleep deprivation, a protein shake first thing in the morning might help you feel better. Again, I can't remember where or when I read this, but I remember that was a thing. But ultimately, it also, like, if you're not, the fasting, I don't know. Like, I don't know why I was so caught up in it. Again, I think it was because I wanted the fasting with the training to basically boost my body's natural growth hormone production and increase lipolysis to burn more fat. I don't know. It was stupid because at the same time I wanted to get jacked and strong. And you can't do that without calories and food and energy. So it also just makes more sense to have a protein shake or aminos or something before you lift, because ultimately when you do that, then those aminos are going to be in your bloodstream, and then when you're working out and you're definitely drinking carbs, then insulin can spike and it can shuttle it to your muscle cells, right? And again, I'm just the biggest advocate now of working out and drinking carbs and aminos and stuff, but mainly carbs when you work out. Like, that's literally just the easiest way to put size on. It makes such a difference, guys, because you go from being catabolic, right? Catabolic when you're working out, breaking muscles down, right? Feeling, you're breaking yourself down, to drinking carbs and you're spiking your insulin, you're working out, and now you're just like, you go from being catabolic to anti-catabolic because your insulin's boosted, so you're shuttling nutrients to your muscles as you're training them, so you're not really breaking your muscles down as much, you're speeding up recovery, and you're feeding the muscles that you're working at the same time. Like, it's just I can't believe I've trained. Listen, I've lifted weights for 23 years now, and this is the first time that I've really been, keyed in on doing this, because the only other times that I've done it were wrestling practice. I felt so crappy, and the strength coach was like, "Man, you gotta put some size on, man. You gotta drink these," and he gave me like these like I don't know, like protein it was just like these I don't know if they had sugar and stuff in them too, but these like calorie shakes to drink during wrestling practice. But if anything, wrestling practice is like really intense cardio, so it's like I'm drinking calories while I'm doing this intense cardio, and I just felt like I was just like gonna just puke the whole time during practice. So that was an awful experience. So I couldn't really commit to that because it was just terrible, gut rot the whole practice. Of course, now if I could go back and do it again, I would get like an easy to, like a Vitargo or like Carbolin, I don't know, or like honey or something like that, something easy to drink, not something so heavy, and just sip it. And knowing how much it helps now, I would definitely have committed more. But then the only other time was when I think it was like 10 years ago. Do you guys remember SizeOn creatine or whatever? Like, it was like, oh, this is a good creatine. This creatine really works, right? And it says like, sip it while you work out. And I did, and I put like 10 pounds on it. And I was like, wow, this creatine really does work. But looking back on it, because I remember I was always like, man, like creatine never seemed to work that well for me, other than that SizeOn stuff. So like, but then it's like I went back and I looked, and it's just because it's just carbs. It's just carbs and protein. So essentially, it's just, it's the same thing. It's just sugar, and I don't even know what it was, like dextrose and some other sort of cheap like maltodextrin carb added to it. So now it would be like now me thinking it's all the creatine, but really it's just the carbs. Now I'm having, whereas the SizeOn was like 20 grams of carbs per serving or something, now I'm having 100 grams of carbs when I work out, and what do you know, I've put like a ton of weight on. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, nutrients, guys, protein and carbs and all that, like, and this whole carb thing though, like only having carbs every, whatever you said, I don't know, like, or I'm sorry, only having protein every 3 hours or whatever, 40 grams of protein every 3 hours or something. Like, this keto is just stupid. I'm sorry if you guys do keto at all, but like, that's, in my opinion, you're never gonna get big. You're not going to get big and strong. And if you disagree with me and say, well, I'm big and strong, well, imagine how big and strong you'd be if you actually ate carbs and were drinking carbs during your lifting and having tons of carbs post-workout and having tons of carbs pre-workout, so your muscles are full of glycogen and energy. And, you know what I mean? Like, so like if you do buy into the whole like low carb diet and you're muscular and strong, just think how much better you would be with carbs. Carbs are literally our body's like energy source, preferred energy source. Your body doesn't want to use protein and fat for energy.